What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ and Buck with you. Buck, what is going on, man?
Nothing, man. I mean, it's the final weekend. I mean, this is it. I'm excited about the championship games. I know people talk about they lost a little bit of luster with the quarterback, Bo Nix being out, but I'm excited. There's some new faces, some fresh quarterbacks that we're talking about with the old guy, Matthew Stafford. Should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a war up in Seattle with the Rams. That's going to be a heavyweight matchup. And then I'm excited to see what Jarrett Stidham does with his opportunity, man. It's fun to see somebody, get up. You talk about a big chance. And I was thinking beyond just this game, like here, Jarrett Stidham's not old, and Jarrett Stidham's got ability and talent. How about the stage for him to do something and maybe open up an opportunity for him somewhere else next year with a draft that's a little underwhelming at the quarterback spot?
100%. But how about this? How about Sean Payton? Remember when they paid to get him from the Raiders? They paid a hefty penny to get him. And look, he hasn't played, but when he got his opportunity to start with the Raiders, his first start, he threw for over 300 yards. He had 3 touchdowns or whatever. This preseason, the preseason is vastly different than the postseason, but he completed almost 79% of his passes. He had 4 touchdowns and those things. And I will say this, Sean Payton is just arrogant enough or confident enough to feel like he can pull this off. Mm-hmm. And I think we have to understand who Sean Payton worked for. He worked for Bill Parcells when Bill Parcells did this with Jeff Hostetler when Phil got done. So there's going to be a little bit of belief that he can get this done. And on the other side for the Patriots, they have to guard against taking that deep breath like, hey, Bo Nix is not playing. We got this. I think if I'm Mike Vrabel, that would be the part that concerns me more, that the guys kind of go in thinking, hey, they're playing with a backup quarterback. We got this. And you don't have the same edge that you would have going into it if Bo Nix was QB1.
Yeah, no, I just think it's hard to say, gosh, could you be really relax when you're in a chance to get into the Super Bowl with a game, but there is something in the back of your head that's like, to me, it's almost like you can't play reckless. It's not so much that you're kind of, letting your guard down. It's that you can't be over aggressive saying, oh, he hasn't played. We got to heat him up. So we're going to be super aggressive, because you will get screamed to death by Sean Payton if you do that.
And I think we've all seen that, DJ. You've been on the call of games where the backup quarterback is in, and it takes you a while to figure it out, because naturally, you want to go after the backup quarterback, but they have counters to it like, oh, we're going to screen you to death. And then you end up having to sit back and be like, hold up. Yeah. Let's make this guy beat us. Let's not give him anything and see if they can do it. Typically, they're the backup quarterback for a reason. For the Patriots, there is going to be some of that feeling out process before they settle into their defensive game plan based on what he's able to do. And they probably won't know it until after the first quarter.
It's a really good matchup with Denver's offensive line, who's really physical, going up against the Patriots defensive line. Well, they will throw bodies down there. They play downhill. They play aggressive. They can get in gaps. And Milton Williams has been playing out of his mind over the last month. Yeah,
Milton Williams is terrific on the inside. But I'm going to say there are other players that are doing well. When I look at them, man, they're rolling so many veterans in and out. Caleb Chason is playing like the first-round pick that the Jaguars
how about that?
Always hoped he to be. But DJ, it's one of the things that we've talked about. It is really important that whoever you draft, that you got to make sure they're in the right environment, the right system for who they are as players. And Caleb Chason started to come on a little bit with the Raiders last year, but this year with the Patriots, man, he has been everything that people wanted him to be as a first-round talent. And I think you have to say that about a lot of the Patriots players. Robert Spillane is playing great. Carlton Davis is playing pretty well. Christian Gonzalez, we'd already talked about being a high-end player, but they have found a way to take all these guys that they got, put them together, and they're playing really well for a defensive coordinator who wasn't even supposed to be the coordinator.
How about that? Absolutely incredible, the job they've done. And we mentioned it on one of the previous episodes, like sack production-wise during the regular season, not great, And then I remember getting ready and prepping for that game against the Chargers going, I still don't know if they're going to be able to get to the quarterback. But the coverage was so sticky and tight, they were able to, and they can be aggressive when they need to be.
But hasn't that always been the Patriot way, going back to when Belichick was there?
He built it back front.
Yeah, they put more of the emphasis on coverage as opposed to pressure. But because the coverage was so sticky, they could generate the pressure. And the pressure they generated, stunts in games, 4-man pressures, not a lot of blitzing. We don't play man with a rat in the middle to make it difficult for the quarterback. I mean, I'm not saying that Mike Vrabel is Belichick, but they're doing a lot of the same stuff that Bill Belichick did for a long time successfully in New England.
Yeah, pretty wild, man. I'd be interested to see what happens in this ball game. Can Drake May avoid the turnovers? That's kind of gone under the radar in their 2 wins. It's him putting the ball on the ground, and with Benito and company coming off the edges, Buck, they get the ball out. So he's gonna have to speed up his clock a little bit in this game.
He has speed up his clock, and I think people have to understand this because after the Bo Nix situation, a lot of people have kind of just conceded everything to the Patriots. But I'm gonna say this because you've been in that stadium. Playing in Denver is a challenge, and there are a few different challenges one, the altitude can be a thing that overwhelms you. When you're very emotional playing in the altitude, that first quarter hits, it's going to kind of knock you back, and it takes you a while to get your second win. So you got to worry about that, keeping your emotions in check in warmups in the early part of the game, because you can gas out. And when they go tempo, it can gas you out in the later stages of the game, which I believe has contributed to their success winning in the fourth quarter. The other part of it, that crowd is loud. It is raucous. The way the stadium is constructed, it can kind of get on you. And when you talk about a team that is an attack-minded defense where they're going to blitz and press you, if they get you in these long yardage situations, 3rd and 7 plus, 3rd and 10 or 11, that's when they heat you up. And you talk about Benito and Zach Allen and some of the other guys, Cooper, they bring a lot at you. And with Drake May's turnover woes, that's when the game gets scary for them.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see if that is, a way that McDaniels kind of calls the game. Is he going to try and protect his quarterback in terms of, hey, we can punt in this game. That's not going to kill us. We don't think their offense with a backup quarterback is going to score 1 million points. So if we got some 3rd and 7s and 3rd and 11s, I think you saw it in the college championship game. Hey, we'll pop a run every now and then on some of these. We'll throw a wide receiver screen on 3rd and 7. We're not going to let this pass rush win the game against us. Yeah,
it'd be really interesting to see how the Patriots attack it and how they change in the middle of the game once they get a feel for how potent the Broncos can be with Jarrett Stidham. I think that first quarter, when you're filling each other out and people are throwing their jabs, you get a sense of, okay, this team, they're not going to be able to score a lot of points, so we can play it close to the vest and let the game come to us. The other part, and I don't know if people have talked about it, the Patriots wide receivers got to win against the sticky coverage on the outside against the Broncos. Pass Surtain, they'll probably try to attack Riley Moss or whatever, but there are not a lot of open areas that are going to be available. Like Boutte is going to have to win on the outside. Hunter Henry's going to have to be a factor. It could be challenging for them to win the one-on-one matchups against the Broncos while they're bringing the pressure at Drake May. That game plan with Josh McDaniels, what he does to kind of slow down some of the exotics that Vance Joseph will dial up, that's going to be a big part of this.
Yeah, I think they try and run the ball. I think Travion Henderson, is a part of this thing, catching the ball out of the backfield a little bit. Stevenson is a physical dude. So to me, I think that's with that defense, you don't want to live in, behind the sticks against that group.
No.
You got an MVP caliber quarterback. I get that, but that's not how you want to play this defense.
You don't want to do that. Now, I would say this, having watched the Jags play against them and successfully knock them out and really kind of beat them handily, it took a quarter and a half before they settled in. And I mean, the pressure was coming from everywhere. The crowd was rocking and rolling. And then it kind of flipped once Trevor settled down and they found different ways to kind of get the ball on the perimeter running, finding ways to find matchups with Parker Washington and those things. It's going to be a chess match. So I just want people to come into this game not expecting the blowout that everyone is going to talk about because Bo Nix is not playing. This is still, in my mind, it's going to be a fourth quarter game where you're going to have to make some plays in the fourth quarter to knock the Broncos out if you're ahead.
All right, just first overall thought on this one. Rams survive in Chicago, and they get their rematch up in Seattle against a Seahawks team that, is just playing lights out right now.
Oh, it's the meme that you put out Sunday night. It's predict a lot of pain. It's Clever Lane. It's Rocky. This is going to be a marquee matchup where we talk about physicality and violence. The one thing, and this, Seattle talked about it. Brock Hewitt came on and talked about it. They talk about violence and physicality. Like they have an old school mindset when it comes to how they want to play this game on offense and defense. And the Rams bring that too. They do it in different packaging. But let's talk about the Seahawks. Their defense is terrific. And up front, man, they get after it. They're explosive. They're deep. They can rush you inside and outside. They stop the run. They got a very, I would say, a diverse secondary that can match up and do a bunch of different things. Emmanuel is kind of like that new school Cam Chancellor in the middle. Witherspoon can play a few different roles. They're really good on that. And then it complements an offense that can run the football, but has an explosive nature to it. Like they're going to run it and do those things. And I know Zach Charbonnet is not in, but they're going to find ways to run it, to control it. And then JSN is going to find a way to wear you out on the perimeter. He is that good. He's exceeded anything that I could have thought he would be coming out of Ohio State. And I felt like I was high on him. He is terrific when it comes to being a playmaker and a route runner on the outside.
He's a pro. He was a pro coming out of college, and he's been that, and someone that can play inside, outside, plays with strength, can win at the line of scrimmage, can win at the top. Sam trusts him. That's going to be a key player. But you flip it over to the other side with Puka and the way he's rolling with Stafford, and they don't have that environment is very hard. I think it's even harder to play in Seattle than it is in Denver, where you're just referencing with the noise and the craziness that can consume you in that stadium. Stafford's experienced it. I know they didn't win that game last time,
but they were dominating the game.
Yards. I know
they were dominating the game. And we have to be real about that. I know Seattle won, but there's a way that fight was going. They were up by 2 touchdowns late in the game, and I'll be honest, some miraculous stuff happened for the Seahawks to win that game. And I think people have to understand that the return got them back, and then they were able to kind of get the drive down the end. It's going to be raucous and it's going to be messy. And how the Rams handle the mess, that misty, rainy thing that always kind of hovers over that stadium, how they handle that is going to be really important. But this is what we know. I don't think the Rams have played great in either of their 2 playoff games. And what you hope if you're the Rams coaching staff is, hey, man, we got to clean this up so we can have a chance to be at our best. Because if we are at our best, we know what this team is. We know how to beat this team. We've done it. They have to do it. But they can't turn the ball over like they turn it over. They can't deviate away from the run game like they did against the Bears. They have to lock in and be at their best. And I know Sean McVay said he didn't coach his best game last week. He has to be on it. He has to be on point this week for them to knock off the Seahawks.
And the first meeting between these guys, Seattle, I feel like they dominated the game, but just had their turnover issues. So to me, protecting the ball is massive. And I think getting Sam settled into this game early on is going to be key. To me, I like him. Get him out. Get him out of there. Don't leave him as a sitting duck, which they don't do often. I mean, just don't have him just lining up in the same spot, same launch point against this front. Get him on the move. That touchdown he threw rolling left last week to JSN was a great example. He is, even with the injury, the oblique, rolling right, rolling left doesn't matter. He's very accurate and very comfortable doing that. So I think they got to get that going a little early. Yeah,
the team that settles in the quickest is going to have the best chance to be able to do it. And we talk about it, even though like the Seattle Seahawks in particular, are a very young team, the environment of a championship game is so different. Like the emotions and all that can overwhelm you. So how Mike McDonald gets his young guys to settle in and to just be the people that they've been all year, that's going to be critical. For the Rams, it's a little different because you got the old field general and Matthew Stafford. You have some older guys who've kind of been around. Devontae Adams is older. Like you have some vets that have kind of been around this thing. The settling in process early, not trying to do too much, not trying to play hero ball, but hey, let's just execute. Let's take our time getting to it. You don't have to knock them out. We can win by decision on cards in the 12th round. Being able to settle down and not get caught up in, I would say, the emotional ebbs and flows of the game are going to be critical.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm looking forward to seeing how this thing gets started. And then once you get to the end, I mean, the one thing about it is the reason why we're saying it's so important to start. I think when you look at the teams in the playoffs, I would say maybe the Patriots the exception, but these 3 of these teams, Denver with Seattle and with the Rams, closers everywhere. They can finish you off. If you are in a situation where you're chasing points late in the game, no bueno.
No, you don't want to have to do that. And particularly both of the home teams, Seattle and Denver, playing at home with those pass rushers, you don't want to be in that situation, in that environment. So it's really important that you get off to a fast start. And we always talk about being able to play from in front, which is kind of like a no-brainer, but people have to understand how the game changes when you're playing from in front and you're able to control it and dictate the terms. You don't want to be in a shootout where you're having to chase and you become one-dimensional or pass happy against any of those teams in the tournament.
All right, let's get to we don't do this often, but who do you like in these games?
I'm going to say this. I'm going to go Patriots in the AFC because as much as I like the feel-good story and Sean Payton trying to dig into the lore, I think it's really hard to win with your backup quarterback in this type of game, despite the youth that the Patriots have. I'm going to go with the Patriots in that. And then I got to go with the home team, man. I guess I'm going to go with the Seahawks in this just because the home team, the environment, it's just advantageous to be at home in the championship game. So Hawks and Patriots running back a Super Bowl that was epic a few years ago.
Yeah, I did the same. And my confidence level not super high. I could see either of these games, going the other way. But I was looking at it from a Seahawks standpoint. I mentioned to you earlier this week, would there be any sweeter ride? I don't know if the team that you were on went to Super Bowl, Buck, or you're two of them that you were on around went to Super Bowl. The path with you could go division rival, and a chance to avenge a Super Bowl loss. Like that's what the path could be for the Seahawks.
Yeah, look, it'd be cool. I would say this. It would also be cool in terms of Mike McDonald being able to get it done, John Snyder being able to do it his own way. I think there would be some lessons to learn from the team building process in terms of like how they've been able to do the reset, the refocus and refresh of the brand. For the Patriots, is how quickly Mike Vrabel would be able to turn it around. And having dug into it, because this time of year, man, you dig into all the stories, having looked at kind of like the docuseries that the Patriots have put out about the connectivity and how intentional he was. And you know it because like, a friend of the show, John Gordon, how they use it's now the 4 H's, DJ.
I know. I saw the extra H. How about that?
The extra H's, but the connectivity that they have. And at a time where we talk about team building and so much of it is like players and development, you forget the relationships and how important it is. I think the common thread between all of it is the importance of building those relationships, getting those right before you even dive into the X's and O's and whatever you're going to do schematically.
I think it's smart teams that are doing that, man. And there's so many that don't, and the players don't know each other. You can't love someone and want to play for them if you don't know them. It seems common sense, but I've been around a lot of teams where guys don't know each other.
We want to get right to this game. We're going to put the balls out there. We want to do all this other stuff when it's really important. The connectivity really, really matters. And you can't tell me why, but there's something to it. You can see it when the teams play for one another. They just play at a higher level.
No problem. All right. We're looking forward to those games. This was a little mini episode here, just previewing those. Next week, we are off to All-Star games. Buck, you'll be at the East West. I'll be at the Senior Bowl. We'll find a way to get some episodes out there to the people. We'll start talking about what we're seeing there, and we'll know who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl in Santa Clara. So we'll have some thoughts there as well. Buck, have a wonderful weekend, man. Enjoy the football. We'll see you next week here on With the Sticks.